Hey everyone, it's Ryan Leonard with Wolfnest Property Management. And today's topic, or this article, I'm really excited about because this is something that we've seen a lot of in the last 2 years. And that's really, be aware of Salt Lake City or any part of the valley property scams. Again, this has been a kind of a big rise the last couple of years. So, how to protect yourself from rental fraud. So, if you've never been a victim of a rental scam or property scams, you consider yourself lucky. Individuals who have, it's absolutely, it's horrible, and a lot of times people are losing money that they can't afford to lose. So again, what happens is that, okay, a DIY owner or property management company puts a property up online for rent. Then the scammer really hijacks or duplicates that link, and then considers it their own. They put their own contact information, and they just try to hijack that property, I guess you could say. So I've even seen it with some individuals who have 2 or 3 leases that are with this scamming company, and the owner has entered into a lease with someone else, and it's just absolute chaos. So we'll look at some of the things that you should be looking out for, to prevent yourself being, a victim of scamming. So first one is limited communication. So again, one of the big warning signs is that you can't get anyone on the phone. Maybe they only want to communicate via email or through some sort of app. Those are all kind of red flags. Make sure that if you can't meet them in person, you can at least meet, have a phone call with them. And again, if it's a Salt Lake City rental property, they should probably have a Utah area code associated with that number. So again, just be wary if they do not want to communicate other than email. Also, the timing. If you're receiving emails or communication from the landlord, I'll call it, at odd times of the day, usually these scammers are international or foreign, and going to be in different time zones. So if you're only getting communication from 2 a.m. our time, that's really business hours for them and when they're doing their scamming. So that's another red flag. Next one is suspiciously low pricing. I see this all the time. When you're looking at properties, and again, it's so competitive right now, if you see, every type of home in this area is going for $2,000 a month, and all of a sudden this one's only $1,000 a month, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So again, look for suspiciously low pricing. That is a big sign that, hey, they just want to get a quick $1,000, $1,500 from you, and then be on their way. Next one is lack of addresses or pictures. A lot of times when they hijack that listing, they can only grab maybe the exterior photo or kind of a screenshot. So poor quality photos, or if you see multiple listings for the same property, that's usually a good sign that, okay, I see it on KSL here, but it's also on this a KSL, but a slightly different address. Again, those are another sign or a warning sign that you should move forward with it. Again, images of just the outside are not usually what you want to see. Interior photos are definitely a good way to say, okay, at least they have had access into the home. Now, next one is suspicious security deposit requests. Now, even us at Wolfnest, we don't start the screening process until we have a security deposit equal to that monthly rental rate, because typically we find it's just not worth our time screening applicants if they can't come up with those funds. However, if the individual is really pushing for, hey, just send me this money and then we'll get you keys, or we'll give you access to go view the home, but you have to submit the security deposit first, don't do that. Make sure that you have done a walkthrough before you do that security deposit. And then also, one of the big ones is if they do not have you sign a security deposit contract, right? If they just ask for the money, but they don't have you engage in any type of contract, that's usually another red flag that you want to avoid this property. So again, if it doesn't feel right, go with your guts, and odds are it probably is not right. So again, these are just some of the things that you want to look for if you're looking to rent a property, or you're a DIY owner and you want to avoid someone moving into your property and paying a scammer rather than you. If it seems a little bit overwhelming, be happy to discuss it in a little bit more depth. Here's our link to our website, also my phone number. Give me a call. I'd be happy to discuss our services and see if they could be a good fit for you. Thanks.